Hi everyone, in this video I created my own personal tier list on what are the best support specials. I don't mean the support stats increase in general, but I only mean specials that can be activated by the enemy. For example, it inflicts bind, that supports Q's bind, extra damage at the end of the stage, and so on. I created four main categories to decide which supports are better than others. The S tiers, in my opinion, are the supports that you really use often and or make really easy to complete the adventure. For example, in this category are Corazon, Rayleigh, and many others, like Rare Recruit version 1 Ace, Nami, and others. In the A tier, there are supports which are good, but often have team building problems, restrictions. For example, Luffy, Kung Fu Luffy, is a good support for each Strawhat, but the point he is Luffy, and sometimes Luffy is in the crew. So you may not consider him. Then we have the niche tier. The niche tier are supports that often are not really used. That can help a bit in adventures, but sometimes they attach to one or only two units that are not very used. And then we have the really niche tier, which is a tier made basically from basically by any unit that you don't really use or are not necessary at all. You just want to use other supports which are much more easy to use. Before I begin with the tiers, all the images and info are taken from the OPTC database. I leave the link in the description, and also you can see the link in the video. I only categorize the units in tiers, but I didn't give them a specific order, like first, second, third, best, and so on. Then last but not least, this is my own personal opinion, so please don't be angry if the list is not likable. But this is my personal experience here, if we could say so. Now let's begin. As first tier that I begin to explain is the real niche tier. Cherry is really niche because healing is not very required in adventure and not really useful at all, and she attached only to 29 or less cost of units, which is quite rare nowadays. Then Log Luffy. Log Luffy can attach to all Straw Hats, but only changing the orb to receive too strong of the supported unit and to make stronger orbs beneficial for everyone is not very useful. I always, in Kitsuna sometimes, not always, make this combination of supports between support Hoven with support Log Luffy, having Sanjin Judge and Cracker. I use them both and all powerhouse units have matching orbs. But other than Kitsuna, I never use this combination. Next we have Legend Kid. Legend Kid attached to all Dex characters, which is good, but only changes the supported orb into matching. And this is a big waste because it changes into a block orb, then block orbs are beneficial. But pretty much not many adventures have block orbs useful, or that really can make the run worse. Next we have Kinemon. Kinemon only reduces special cooldown of the supported character by 2 turns, which Kanjuro you maybe used him, but Momonosuke Raizo never nowadays. Next we have Pudding. Pudding, I used them once when I had to reduce my HP with a Whitebeard team, Legend Whitebeard team. But other than that, never, because matching orbs on the final stage is not very useful. You just wanna clear the stage or resist during the stage. Next we have Weevil. Weevil can be attached to all slashers, but with now debuff is very never used. It's never used basically. Now debuff is nullify attack at normal attack only. Sorry, which nowadays is everywhere. Every piece of content had that damn debuff. Next we have Legend Shirahoshi. Legend Shirahoshi. I never had needing of HP healing or have a specific rainbow orb. I never used that. That's pretty much it. Then she attached only to Luffy, Fukaboshi, Neptune. Neptune maybe, Fukaboshi never, Luffy you just want to use better sports. Free to play, I remember Zoro and Miyok V2 Legends had this good support. For Zoro and Miyok V2, she's good, but slashers are really hard to use nowadays, so I never use her. Next we have Legend Sabo, V3 Sabo. She attached to all Revolutionary Army. He gives a good boost, but the problem is you're never gonna use this unit except for Morley. Except for Morley and maybe Koala, but Karazu is as a good unit, Karazu, but I recently never used him. Berobetti, never used her. Lineback, never seen him. So only Morley, Koala, but there is only a good Morley. So there's only one Morley, if I'm correct. And then we have Itsu. Itsu is super neat because changing orbs when you do a damage dealing is not bad, but the problem is Ace or only Legend Ace does damage, and Marco does not ever do damage. Whitebeard maybe with Treasure Map Whitebeard or Legend Whitebeard, but Legend Whitebeard itself changes orbs. Even Warco changed ours, so it's not good. You just won't never use them. Maybe with treasure map Whitebeard it can be used, but I hardly doubt it. Then we have Red Recruit V1 X-Ray. Maybe can be used with Hawkins, but other than that, never. And 50 damage reduction is not really usable. Then we have V1 Rerequi Capone, which is really useless because Vito is not really good in shooter's team. Gotti can change Block Corps himself with Rerequi Gotti. While Chiffon, you just want to use Legend Capone if you have him. Next is Rouge. Rouge, like Weevil, gives extra damage and the end of the adventure for striker units, but now debuff nullifies all. Next is time skip Luffy. He attached to all straw hats, but you never want to use him because he's Luffy and only gives free matching orbs. As count only gives free colored orbs as matching orbs, so it's not ideal. Suleiman maybe can be used with Legend Barton Cavendish. Other than that, never. Next we have 6+ time skip Luffy, Gear 4. It gives instead of 3, 4 colored, 2 color orbs and receive a thunder orbs counted as beneficial. It's not super bad, but again, it's Luffy. You don't want to use him as a support for that kind of stuff. Next we have Burgess. Burgess maybe can be attached only to Legend Whitebeard, but other than that, never. And you had to bring yourself a delay condition, a delayer to make that condition is actually working. Next we have V2 Fujitora 6+. Is I made him 5 of support. I maxed it, but I never used it. Because Slasher are never used. Just Slasher are so bad. Next we have Treble. Treble attaches to Sugar. Sugar is a good unit, but never used because driven units are not really good. Again. So basically, it's really niche. Maybe with Legend Sugar, once she comes out, he will become really useful. But until then, not so much. Next, we have Kemi. Kemi only attaches basically to Sanji. Like Hachan and Papagu, you're never gonna use her. Maybe Rerekui Hachan, the Psy one. Maybe, but you again need to bring a delayer in order to this special to work. I used her only once on Kitsuna Clash, but other than never. Next we have Chiffon. Chiffon gives basically a matching orb and heals for 20% HP. She's not bad, but shooters are not that good, and how could I say it? 20% HP is not enough. It doesn't change anything. Maybe it will help, but I never used them. Only for the matching orbs. Next we have Castino. Castino again attaches to Capone. It's not a bad support because it's 1.5 extra damage poison enemy. But you need to bring a poisoner, and if you bring a poisoner, you are guaranteed with basically Magellan to use. And Magellan will always boost damage to poison enemy. So it's never used him. You can never use Castilla. Next we have Sanji. He's again he boosts he supports every straw hat. Every straw hat is not bad, but it's only a receiver. If it was matching, it was maybe niche. But only recovering 1000 HP, it's not good. I really used him only to complete Hawkins Forest with Nico Robin and Savoy Koala. But other than that, never used him. Next we have Ace, the raid one. He attaches only to Whitebeard. Basically, I never used him because Warco changes orbs. It gives basically all colored orbs and receive orbs are beneficial if you will use Warco. Treasure map Whitebeard is quite rare to use. Legend V2 Whitebeard with his 6 plus evolution he lost the damage, so he can't prompt his special. I never used it, basically. This role I never seen before because it's LRR recruit from treasure map. I never pull on treasure map banners, only once I did. And his support is to Doflamingo, which is not bad, but the thing is that Doflamingo must do damage. Doflamingo never do damage. It gives orb boost, changes orbs, reduce damage with the treasure map once. But the damage it's only the LR one or the legend one. And if you use that legend, you're gonna kill the stage. So I don't think anyone could really use it. Next we have Orlumbus. Orlumbus, it could be a really good support for Driven, supporting Cavendish Bartolomeo. Maybe Deo. But the thing is, it changes all Driven received on the MP bomb into the supported orb and locks the supported orb. If it was all matching, maybe or A tier, probably. But it changed the support, all slots changed into the supported slot. Not good enough. Next we have Ozone. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. It's a support only useful for limited recruit audition, basically, or with Dozun. But it's a good support, but so rare to use. Auditions, it's only good with his Colosseum version and his Legend version. Next we have Ors. The thing is that Moria that uses a special to heal is only the extra Coliseum Moria. And you're never gonna use them because it's not really a good unit. So this horse basically it's never used. Next we have Hannibal. Hannibal boost supports only Magellan, which Magellan nowadays it's not really used. And in order to use this support, you must use only Legend Magellan because the other Magellan just boosts the damage with poisoned enemy. So basically, never use them. Next, we have how it was his name, Daruma. Sorry, Daruma. It's it can be used, sure, but it only reduces paralysis and silence only to auditions. If it was all units, it was really good, but only to auditions, maybe to stall 1 turn extra with auditions special, but used only once and stuff. Next we have 20th anniversary Usopp. Usopp, it's a really rare unit to use. Only use the one Coliseum because if an enemy randomizes or manipulates your orbs, it just never happens of the empty orbs. Maybe with badly all matching orbs, but if you bring Luffy or you bring Snake Man that makes all orbs matching, Basically, Usopp, you're never gonna use them. Or you bring the new V2 statement, which changes all orbs into matching. And again, making Usopp useless. Nico Robin maybe can be used with her, but I nearly use more Cavendish. I mean Bartolomeo. And Frankie, I just never use Frankie as a unit per se. Next up, we have Legend Borsalino. Borsalino, again, orb manipulation, orb randomization, it's quite rare because in his case, he changes shooter and slasher characters into matching orbs. But the problem is that Akainu is a shooter, but you never bring shooters with Akainu. You bring Int if you bring V2 Akainu, or strong dex quick units with the new Legend Akainu. While Aokiji it can be used with a limited rare recruit Aokiji. Sorry, I had to pause the video. What I was saying that can be used with limited rare recruit Aokiji, the int one, not the strong one. The strong one is not very useful. And maybe with the free Aokiji version. But the point is that you use often color types instead of class types for a kind of Aokiji. So why never use the Borsalino ones? Next we have Ichigi. Ichigi can delay enemies, which is nowadays with the delay immunity not really good. And with increased damage taken, now there is the new buff to the enrage tablet that reduces that damage. So it's not a new or rare thing or something. And only using him for Judge, Niji, Yonji, and Ryuji, it's not really easy because Ryuji maybe Judge Ryuji Judge, sorry, can be used sometimes, but Niji, Yonji, I pretty much never use them. Next we have support only Iceberg, which is not a bad support for Frankie, but the problem is that only supports Frankie, 1, and 2, the despair is only for Frankie. So if the despair is not on Frankie, because Frankie is a unit and not a captain, it's useless. Basically, it doesn't reduce the despair duration, which was a huge letdown for me when I discovered. Next, we have Lucy, Sabo, however you want to call it, which reduces 3 turn of special cooldown when the enemy inflicts special rewind. On Koala and Hack, you would never use it. While on Rebecca, maybe with the Legend Rebecca or the Treasure Map one with Viola, but only to her or them is not really good. If it was all the crew, yeah, but only for that unit, no. Next we have again support only Dagama, which gives a good attack boost to those units. But when you hit perfect, you reduce end of turn damage and percent cut duration by 5 turns, which is a really rare thing because if it happens, often are 99 turns and not just 10 or 15. And besides that, you must bring Isabello. Maybe you bring him with his recruit version 2. Xinqiao never used him. Sai never used him. Ideo maybe is version 2. Yeah, Haju maybe with is version 2. But it's really, yeah, it's really rare, sorry. And then we have Legend Pudding. Legend Pudding, like Sabo, only attaches to a certain unit, in this case Sanji. And he reduces silence or special rewind on Sanji by 2 turns. If it was for everyone, again, it was super useful. It is only for one unit, never use it. And the last, I put Niji. Niji can reduce one turn of attack up or rage. But again, the problem is often enemies just put 10 or plus turns of rage. So maybe if it was 5, it was an initiative. I would put him in an initiative, but because it's only just one, not really good. Now we are in the niche tier. The niche tier are units that can be used not often, but quite sometimes. I first put Zeph, which is a new support in the global, which boosts Sanji and gives 1.5 color affinity to fighters. Maybe in Kitsuna can be really useful and in gap challenges. I don't personally know if it is an issue as per niche tier, but I think that Sanji really has good units, so maybe has some potential. Legend Zoro. Legend Zoro only boosts Myoke Perona. I only used him on Legend B1 Mihawk or to free-to-play reward Perona. It really shines with Mihawk and Perona together, the legend, but it's not really useful. It may be, but not useful. Next we have Bonnie. Bonnie, I made her a niche tier because she supports all Psy characters, and really often Psy characters just make receive orbs as matching. So pretty much you have a guaranteed orb on the last stage. Next we have Buffalo. Buffalo, I put him in the niche tier and not really niche because Pika, the Red Recruit one, is a really good unit nowadays for driven units. And when the enemy don't give you the opportunity to use attack boost, it gives a 2 per attack boost, which is quite rare to use, but really good when it happens. Next we have Sora. Sora attaches to all the Germa, basically, including Sanji. I used her quite a lot in Kitsuna because I run Luffy low and with Sanji and Zoro as subs. And I had unnecessary to have full HP, so she gives 3000 of HP and reduce 1 turn of cooldown. And makes basically a matching orb with Sanjin Zoro because Sanjin Zoro makes receive and tandem matching. So it's a good trade for Kitsuna. Next I put Legend V1 low. It can be maybe really useful when the last stage it rewinds 1 turn of special cooldown. You just use Corazon, recover all HP, and you can tank a hit, or maybe with Luffy you want to use with V1 Snakeman. You just hit 3 perfects and then all everyone is ready, you can kill the stage, or just to speedrun things. Next, I put Mr. Zero. His special it was really useful against Coliseum Morley because Nico Robin could bypass basically the special one, and maybe in the future can be again really useful in that kind of situation. But that's Bones you never use him, and Bone Clay never use. Next we have limited very quick Kitsuna, if I'm correct. Brook. Brook attaches to Nami and Zoro and basically gives extra damage. It's not bad, but maybe you want to run other supports such as for Nami, Legend Sanji, or for Zoro you bring support Kushiro, which is a really good unit. I'm gonna talk about later. Next is Jabra, Requiem Jabra. Attaches only to Lucci and Kaku. I used it in the recent treasure map because Lucci makes his orb decks, the new Lucci, the arena one, the Pyre Festival, sorry. And basically all orbs become decks, really useful for dex teams. With Kaku never used him. But maybe you just want to keep him level 3 support because it changes receive empty bomb on all character into super orbs. And maybe we can be really useful for V1 Snakeman if you're still running. Next we have the really old V1 Recruit Iceberg, which is for Frankie. It just locks orbs and switches orbs twice. Maybe with the Legend Frankie can still be used, or other Frankies in general. I still think is a niche. I used him against Invasion Extra Whitebeard, young Whitebeard. It was really good. Next, I put Kyros. Rare Record V1 Kiro. It supports only Rebecca, but the thing is that I used him quite a bit because with Vivi Rebecca you would kill the stage basically with only Vivi Rebecca because you can't boost attack by because the enemy would clear all the effects. But thanks to Kyros, I would kill him because I get 2 per attack boost on Rebecca. Next is Nami, the 20th anniversary version. It can be used. It was used by many users when the really difficult quite a month ago. There was the Garp challenge with the final boss Garp and Sengoku. You could just use her and get rid of its stupid 1/3 damage reduction, threshold damage reduction. And it was really good, so I would put her in a really niche tier, but in the case that counter returns, I would use her. So it's a niche tier. And reduce 50% damage in Kitsuna can be used sometimes, thanks to her range of units that Kenshi supports. Next is Zephyr, Legend Zephyr. Beans never use him, never. He can be really good when you use Recruit Ain. She really is one of the best recruits in my opinion. And if you run her in a shooter team, it gives all matching orders. This is one really rare case, but I used him in Kitsuna Shiraoshi, Christmas Shiro. Then we have young ratio. She can support all Germa, including Sanji. I used her in one Kitsuna, if I remember correctly, and because she would remove that chain multiplier limit and makes receive orbs, which was perfect. It's a really niche unit, but I used her at least 2 or 3 times. Next, we have Tesoro. Tesoro is a really good support, but the only problem is that it supports Baccarat and dies. Tanaka, you could never use him. Baccarat, only the recruit one can be used because the other sucks. While dice is a good recruit, but if the captain is not strong or quick, you would never use it. So it's niche because it supports only Baccarat and dice basically. That really sucks. But when you can manage to use him, for example, in the gap challenges, the new ones with Baccarat, you deal a lot of damage. Next, we have support recruit Strossen. Boost supports only Lin Lin, Big Mom. His special was really good, at least for me, when Proof of the Strongest, Douglas Bullet, sorry, was present, and could get rid of the damage increased buff. And he is really good because he can basically heal you for more than 10,000 of HP, with and even more because you can run evasion Lin, get receive orbs, get his support, heal with the support, heal receive orbs, heal with him, deal quite a lot of damage. So it's a really good unit to heal. Next, I put, as I previously mentioned Sanji, Legend Sanji, which gives 0.5 chain multiplier. I used him with Nami in some Kitsuna. On Chopper and Brook, not so much, but maybe with the Legend Chopper in the future we could use him. While for Brook, maybe with the Legend Brook, but I not really use Legend Brook so much, so I don't really see much potential for him. Next, we have Aladdin. Aladdin boosts Himbe, Praline. Aladdin, Aladdin, sorry, can be really useful when you when you need a chain lock. When using, for example, Himbe or B2 Himbe, and even with Praline, because it locks all powerhouse orbs and changes the captain orb into receive, which basically with Zenusha is an extra orb receive, matching orb. But Himbe are hardly used nowadays. While Praline, I don't tend to lock orbs with Praline. His level 5 is worse than his level 4 because it changes the right column slot into receive int quick. Sometimes you don't want to have int or quick orbs to ruin your chain. Next is Legend Capone. Legend Capone is a really fun support. I gotta admit, I sometimes use him only just to save my butt in death damage by the enemy. Because if you use Chiffon with him, you receive no damage. It's basically a Legend Robin special in a support. Really good fun unit, but unfortunately Chiffon has only her Red Recruit version, which is really good. and her Fortnite version, but yeah, it's not good. Next we have Stussy. Stussy boosts supports all shooter characters. She was really good against Invasion Lin because you bring a shooter, deal a special damage, and randomizes all orbs. It was good only for randomizing orbs because attack supported the boosted attack on the supported unity. It's not really good. But maybe in the future, when bosses don't allow randomization of the orbs, can be used. Next is support only Tsuru. Tsuru, she's really rare to use because resilience is not such a big buff. Not a big buff. It's not really common on enemies. But if you can use her with, for example, Requiem Sengoku or Legend Garp, Invasion Garp, she just kills the enemy by herself. Next is, like I mentioned at the beginning, support only Haven. Support only Haven gives all powerhouse units strength orb and boosts affinity of powerhouse by 1.3. This can be really good with Legend Katakuri, all versions basically except the new int one. With Treasure Map Pigman, you can just use her special, having all units as a strength orb and everyone as a strength orb, basically. Cracker, not good so much, but in combination with support Luffy or Gear 4 or support Luffy, Lock Luffy, you can have all powerhouse orbs matching because strength orbs are matching, and Hoven changes strength orbs into matching. While Smoothie never used him with her, and I forgot. Next we have Bartolomeo with a simple 50% reduction. This can be good because Luffy, again with V1 Snake Man, just want to hit all perfects, resist one turn, and fully boost. Or with the new Snake Man, just to resist one turn. Again, we have two units here, Rogues and Yasop. When you use Treasure Map Shanks and Backman, there are the units you wanna continue to use because they shuffle orbs and with the incredible boost of affinity thanks to Ben Beckman and Shanks, you get a lot of damage. You deal a lot of damage, but when you don't use Shanks and Ben Beckman, you're gonna never use them. Next we have a new support on Global, which is version 2. Yes, no, sorry. Version 1 was either way. Kobe. Kobe, when you receive attack down blindness, reduce attack down blindness by 3 turns. I would put him as a A tier because it's a really good effect reducing 3 turns of attack down. But that blindness really ruined the special because the enemy just gives you blindness and the support is ruined entirely. Which is a shame because Garp have at least 2 units good, 2 good units. Next we have Ivankov. Ivankov in the past was really good support, especially on Luffy. But the thing is that nowadays sockets are so much common with the Forbidden Tomes. You just want to put all units Venom immunity, Poison immunity, and the support. It's useless. I put him in the niche tier because maybe I don't want to consume Forbidden Ops. By the way, I'm over 9,000. But really rare nowadays. Next, we have Recruit Conjurer. I only used him on Okiku when Neo CP9 Invasion came out on Global. It's only good on Okiku basically because Kinemon has really little usage. Right, so it's gone nowadays. Omonosuke I never used. Okiku, she's a good unit, so basically if you don't have Whitey Bay as a support, you can use Kanjuro to bypass that effect. Next is 20th anniversary Sanji is like Ivankov. So, that's pretty much said. Next we have Legend Hodi. Legend Hodi maybe can be used together with Arlong and Crew and Daruma, because Daruma can get rid of special bind and gives paralyzes and gives a good decent attack boost, while Arlong is a good unit, a real bad captain. But thanks to 2 turns special rewind, he itself give, for example, 4 turns of special rewind to all powerless units, which is a good deal. Next is V12 Kiji. V12 Kiji changes supported, adding a decent character to matching. Is really good for Legend Garb, for example. And for Treasure Map Smoker, maybe I should use him often. But except the Treasure Map Smoker, there are the smokers that did damage. Wait. Until a Legend Smoker comes out, he will be maybe much more useful with Kishi. But other than that, I never see usage on internet. I don't think he's a really good support. Not a bad, but not a superb support. Next is Valentine Carrot. Only boosts Chopper. And reduces 2/3 of chain multiplier limit to chain multiplier reduction. It's niche because 2/3 is not very good. If it was 4 or 5, yes, it was really good. But only 2 just never happened. Next was free-to-play Gunfall when come si chiama? When Enel, the kinda challenge, extra challenge of Enel came out. When the enemy basically gives you paralysis, you get a 1.3 matching boosted orb. Can maybe be used in Kitsuna. I used him once. But other than that, only Chopper is good unit because Connie's and Pierre are not good. Next, we have Raid Boa. Raid Boa, she can be used as a support because Marigold and Thunder Sonia are not a bad unit when the enemy puts a chain reduction, sorry. She can lock a chain, but often they are used in tandem. Thunder Sonia with Marigold support or Marigold with the Thunder Sonia support. Next is Recruit Sengoku, which is better than his Legend companion. Only attaches to Garp, which is a shame, and it's a really, really low effect, because one turn of attack down or despair reduction is really not good. Maybe Garpchai can be used, but it's really hard. So I would recommend to just give him a level 1 that reduces despair. Maybe it's quite rare, but you do not need to spend a lot of metal. Next is Celebrating the Cruise Chopper, the new one. Boost Zoro and Nami. When they use this special threshold damage reduction is reduced by 2 turns, which is too low, in my opinion. If it was 4 or 5, it was super good, but 2 is just really low, and 5% of crew HP is nothing. You really don't use it. You really don't use him for the HP reduction, HP recovery. Then we have Legend Cracker. Legend Cracker boosts Katakurian's movie. When you need him, he's a really good unit. But often Katakuri and Smoothie are not in every team, especially Smoothie. Really good on Katakuri personally, in all his versions. But not in every piece of content they put chain reduction or chain limit. But he is really good on the recent Coliseum King. On that note, he's really good. It's for that. It's in the niche, and it was really good even in the really hard gap challenge that I told you before. Next, we have Rarequid Jack, which just reduces to 2 turns of special cooldown when they reverse special when they do special rewind. Sorry again, I had supposed. When the enemy puts 2 special rewind, it just rewinds Kaido special by 2 turns. It's a really good because Kaido cooldown is really high. And when you need to use him a special again to activate his own cool captain ability again, he really does the job. Then we have Legend Ace. Legend Ace locks orbs for 2 turns when Marco or Whitebeard do damage in specials. Marco is pretty much discarded because he never do damage. While Whitebeard can be used with his treasure map version, invasion version, V1 legend version, and Wark version. But other than that, never. Next is the new support for red hair pirates, especially made on global. That she reduces 3 turns to chain multiplier, chain multiplier limit, and blindness. The thing is, like Kobe, the chain multiplier limit is good, but the blindness is bad. So it's only for that I would put her in an A tier if the blindness was not present. Next is support Brady. She boosts Aladdin. Her support is A tier, in my opinion, but the fact that she boosts only Aladdin is really niche. But not so really, because Aladdin maybe can be used for his bind and despair effect, not for his boost orb effect. Air level 4 is enough for me, because level 5 is just more stats. Then we have Rakuyo. Rakuyo boosts Marco, Ace, Vista. Vista you pretty much discarding. And Whitebeard. And it's good because it rewinds one turn, maybe of special cooldown. Maybe you just need one turn to resist an attack. Or just to use Warco special to recover HP, stall, or use Ace special, the the limited red recruit from the anniversary, the 5th anniversary, to clear enemy shield and recover just a little bit of HP while protecting yourself with the ship special, the how's it called, the Quatet Sanya. While Marco to recover HP with his special. Next, we have Raid Tesoro. It's a good unit support because it changes side bad orbs into matching. It could be used sometimes, but I just use the Shanksing to change orbs and the job is done. The job is done, so it's just a choke unit for me now, or for many others. But when I didn't have Shanksing Crew, I used him a bit. Next, we have Legend Hawkins. Hawkins can be really good in Kaido teams because when you reach the final stage, change all adjacent orbs and character orbs into matching, and can be really good when you want to use Sanjin Judge. Swap ability, use his special. Basically, you have 4 matching orbs without changing orbs. Next, we have Momonosuke. It's just like a small legend V1 Sanji, so support for Nami. For Nico Robin and Kinemon, Nico Robin maybe, Kinemon never. Next, we have Legend Buggy. Legend Buggy boosts all character with 40 less cost. I used him quite a lot by clearing the small boss stages by using our recruit special, gain attack boost or boost. He gives the attack boost, he just clears the way with this special. If it was for legends, it would be much more easy to use, but it's quite good. Next we have the extra Shiraoshi treasure map, which boosts only the extra Neptune. It's a good special because she reduces 3 turns of burn and changes every bomb G tandem into matching. And she basically with Colosseum Neptune, extra Colosseum Neptune, she clears all badly matching or all useless orbs into matching. Which is good, but not often it happens. At least for me. Maybe I'm wrong. Next, we have limited rare recruit repose Akainu, which is a good 90% defense reduction with the enemy. Which with Aokiji is quite good because you could use Legend V3 Aokiji special that bring a conditional defense reduction unit, and you get much more damage. While for Kizaru, with his Colosseum version, yes, but for other version for Kizaru, I don't see much play. Oops. Next, we have Berobetti, the support for Kitsuna, Berobetti. She's basically a Akainu, a limited rare with Akainu that reduces damage. she's really good with Koala, especially with Koala, the Kitsuna one, because Koala keeps the conditional, and while Bello Betty does the conditional. So it's a good combination. Next we have the Sanji, sorry if I don't remember the name, Jigoro of the Wind, and Ipaku, if I'm not wrong. They are good only for Kitsuna Moria, because basically all orbs become stronger, strength orbs with that Moria, except the block one. For Perona, maybe with Yoke Perona's legend, but Abson or Outback are never used. Next we have V1 Katakuri 6 plus, so V1 normal is the same, which gives 1.4 of damage, extra damage against delayed unity. Again, you need a conditional a delayer that gives the extra damage to the conditional. And it can be useful for Kitsuna, for example, when you bring Cracker together, or Smoothie, thanks to her affinity, the Colosseum version, or with her treasure map with Hoven version. It's quite a niche, but it's not bad. Next we have Christmas, if I'm correct, Monette. She's good only for the Flamingo, and gives 1.3 extra damage to delay unity. Again, you must bring a delayer. Rights is next. It can be used with Nekumamushi or Kanjuro, which is a good it's a good special ability, because it reduces 2 turns of science and paralysis. And bringing Nekumamushi is not a bad choice, because you can reduce attack down and bind, and give all card orbs matching for striker units, while Kanjuro can reduce 5 turns of bind and despair, while giving a chain lock. So it's not really bad, but Nekumamushi is not really used nowadays, while Kanjuro is really used. It is a good unit, but I not used him so much nowadays. Maybe for Kitsune, yes. Next is the Kitsune help support Chopper, which only his level 1 is a bit useful, because he reduces 1 turn of attack down and paralysis. Maybe in gap changes can be used, but I never used it. Next, I'm not sure if he's on global, because I didn't pull him X-Drake. But if you can use his special, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'm wrong. He reduces like Carrot, Valentine, 2 turns of chain limit and chain reduction. That's it. And it's not really useful, because the chain lock and chain reduction often are for 5 or 4 turns. Next is brand new. Brand new only attaches to Sengoku, unfortunately. It can be used only on his, basically on his invasion form, which is not bad, and on his red one. And the 1 turn reduction of percent damage reduction is not bad, but sometimes you just want to clear the room with 1 shot using a 5 turn shield reduction and so on. Next we have wait a moment. As I would say, I was going to say, sorry. The next is Dr. Korea and Igurak. I don't remember his name perfectly, sorry. The Quack Doctor, I remember. They attached to Chopper. There are limited recruit on Christmas Chopper debut. Their special changes empty bomb orbs, but when the Chopper uses his special, so that's really good. It changes all empty bomb orbs into matching and boosts attack by 1.4, 1.5 to Chopper, which is not the good part. So Legend Chopper can really use the support, but unfortunately I don't have them, and many people don't have him. No, don't have. Next, again, sorry. Next is Rev Recruit Sentomaru. Sentomaru can be used only with Kitsaru. When you reach final stage, reduces 2 turns of Kitsaru special and changes Kitsaru and Friend Captain orbit to matching. It's not bad if you want to speedrun with Coliseum Kitsaru, but other than that, I never seen much opportunity for this special. Next is Recruit Moria. He's only good for Perona because you can use Perona special, the free to play that reduces 3 turns of the spare bind. It's a really good support because Perona reduces the defense by 100%, while he gives the extra 1.5 damage. So it's not a really bad support. But the fact is that it's Perona, and if you run Legend Miyoken Perona, you just want to use the extra condition made by the ghosts. So next is Khalifa, Rerekui Khalifa. She can be used basically only for Robluch and Kaku. The others just forget it. And when you get inflicted with extra damage, she reduces damage, which is rare. If increased damage taken was much more common, I would put her in A tier because Lucci is a really good unit, even Kaku. But the fact is that increased damage is not very often used, so it's an issue. Next is Otama. Otama, I put her in a niche tier, not really niche tier, because she boosts all the imp characters. When you get defeated with burn, chain limit or chain reduction, she recovers 500 HP. 5,000, sorry. 500 is really small. And can be used for survival. That's all. Next and last is V3 Low, which still I don't have him. He's a really good unit, one of the best. Supports Beppo and Corazon, which is a really niche situation because Beppo is never used except his recruit that reduces threshold damage. And Corazon maybe can be used, but not recently. I don't use him recently. Maybe it's just me. When the enemy changes orbs, basically it does a full cracker special that changes by the matching up in matching orbs. But the problem is only for free speed. So that's it for the niche team. Next we have the A tier. Here it is the A tier, which is a unit that I often use, and I think that in the future can be still really useful. First is Nekomamushi, Legend Nekomamushi, which with Chopper can reduce 2 turns of bind and attack down, which both are really bad debuffs. And I used him, for example, in Coliseum Raizu. Then it can be used with Pedro. I know that in the future we receive a strength Pedro, which is not bad, and his limited rare record version is not bad either. So I think he still have potential. Next is Lion Song Zoro. Lion Song Zoro is a really good unit because when enemy applies attack up or rage, which is not really common, but it's not really either rare, it reduces damage by a lot and boosts all Dex characters. And I use him really a lot. Next is a quick Kitsuna reward Margaret. Margaret is really good because basically for all quick or characters gives a matching cost at the end. This is really good. I used, for example, in Kitsuna and for GARP challenges. I remember the Shanks one, extra one, that now global is not available. I don't know why, but she's really good. I use that. Next is Legend Boa. Legend Boa is a good support for Luffy, Thunder Sonya, and Marigold because it changes the left column orbs when you use the special to matching. With Thunder Sonya Marigold, if you don't have Marigold or Thunder Sonya, or the other way, you could use her special to gain more multiple matching orbs while still giving the buff. While for Luffy, she's not really useful for Luffy itself because if you run Luffy Law, it's good, but if you have support Sengoku, the Psy one, you just get rid of her immediately. Next is celebrating the new crew is Nami. She's far more better than Chopper personally because she boosts Luffy. Luffy is everywhere. And if you reach the final stage, reduces 2 turns of special and changes orbs into a matching. It's a really good trade because you could use potential Snake Man specials immediately after you launch it a couple of turns ago. And just every version of Luffy can use her special. While Chopper, maybe with his Legend version or his version with Usopp, right, the Usopp Chopper. So I think in the future can be really useful. Next is Raid Pika, really old but still a good support. Basically all leave it to Flamingo, don't watch the others. It's a really good support because it changes empty and badly orbs of powers and driven. So he covers 2 types of orbs, empty and badly, and 2 classes, powerhouse and driven, when you use their special. So I used him in a lot of teams versus versus Invasion Lindin, and in other circumstances in Kitsuna. So I think he's a really good support, and he's a free-to-play unit. Next is Mystiums. Mystiums boost Luffy, Sanji, Carrot, and Pedro. Except Pedro, the other 3 can be used quite a lot. The part of the Paralysis Special Rewind is not entirely good. Paralysis not so much, Special Rewind yes. But the good part is the 75% reduction, which basically can let you survive another turn for extra. It's a really good unit support. Next is 20th Anniversary Frankie. 20th Anniversary Frankie. Sorry, wait a moment. As I always say, 20th Anniversary Frankie is a good unit because Luffy is always used. Nico Robin too. while Asop not so much. While these are really good, it reduces an 80% of enemy defense while giving a match cost. This is really good for prompt defense reduction special. And the really good fact is that it boosts Luffy, Nico Robin, and Usopp with Usopp, which are units that you nearly always use. Next we have Legend Shanks. Legend Shanks is a good support because if you deal a damage with special using a Psy character, all slots are Psy. This is a really good special. The unfortunate part is that is Shanks. Because if you have Shanks and Crew, you use Shanks and Crew. It's really simple. So it's basically, it's only unfortunately the case because it's a really good support, but using Shanks and Crew, if you have them, the support is useless. Next up we have Bartolomeo, Legend Bartolomeo. Everybody, including myself, I used him a lot, especially on Nico Robin, never Cavendish, because free turns of paralysis is quite common, actually, in Kitsuna and Garp challenges, and Nico Robin has many potential units, Legend Nico Robin, Stampede Robin, Rare Recruit version 2 Robin, and so on. Next we have V2 Low, 6 plus, but it doesn't change nothing from his not 6 plus version. It's really good because if the enemy won't allow you to trigger a slot boost, you can just bring Corazon, get rid of some debuffs, while giving a 1.75 boost is a really good special. It's not S tier because Corazon is not used everywhere, but it's a really good, it's still really good. Next, as I was saying before, is Thunder Sonya Marigold support, which if you use Marigold, Thunder Sonya will prompt the defense reduction, while if you use Thunder Sonya, Marigold will prompt with the extra damage from the defense reduction, so they are good together. Next is Karina. Karina is a really good unit on Nami because she changes additions orbs into matching by just using Nami special and reduces damage by 30%. The damage reduction is good, but not perfect, while the addition slots with 6 plus Legend Nami, for example, is a really good trade because it's 3 orbs guaranteed with an insane boost. Next is Rare Recruit V2, I would say, because the other one is story, but it was in the shop a lot years ago. Is Hachan. He like Karina changes addition slots into receive orbs instead of matching, but the good part is that he changes also block orbs and own supported orb into receive orb. So if you run an Nami, for example, she's always cerebral. Bring Zunisha. In a cerebral team, you have 4 matching orbs and a lot of boost by Nami. It's a really good support. Unfortunately, the only part negative of his special is that the boost only Nami. If it was, for example, Luffy or others, it would be insane. Next is Flampe, Reckless Flampe. I used her a lot only for the easier perfects, because I don't usually run stats, extra stats, but I just bring her with Lindin or with Katakuri. She makes much more easy to use perfects, but sometimes this is a drawback, personally. So I would keep 2 versions of her. But the really good part is the 80% of damage reduction, or 80, sorry, which can be used to prompt a defense boost, a defense reduction damage boost. With Katakuri is really easy, and with Link too. So it's a good support. I use them very often. Next is the first support that ever came up in Global in Japan was Support Sabo. He's only good on Luffy. Koala hack you could never use him. I couldn't never use him on them. And his special is really good on Kitsuna and on the rankings, just for the 1.5 extra damage from Luffy. So it's good. Next we have okay, let's go game. Sorry, I had to pause the video. Next support is Beppo. Beppo attaches only to Trafalgar Law and boosts the color affinity of Striker and Slasher by 1.3 when you get the final stage. You usually use Corazon or V2 Beppo as support, but I think in maybe in Kitsuna could really a good help. Next is Kitsuna reward Perospero. Perospero has a good support in which if any cerebral character uses their special, locks cerebral slots. It's really good, especially for example Shiraoshi Mesheri, or in other situation like in the training forest Hawkins, when you need to lock permanently for perfects, if I remember correctly, receive orbs. You could just use his special instead of Mega Shift special. Next is not challenge, sorry. Reward for ranking Wanda, like Fuku ranking. She's really good, especially for Legend Carrot and Nami, because when you use her special, randomize all orbs, including block, and locks orbs for 1 turn. This is really good for passing in the next stage by keeping slots together. And when you want to use V1 Snake Man or some other kind of special that deal good damage, but you don't want to lose slot boost. Next off is Lafitte, or Lafitte, sorry. Lafitte is only good on level 4 because removes Bind and Despair by 2 turns on special Blackbeard. The other ones are not really good. You don't want the level 5 because level 5 removes also blindness, and blindness is not a really strong debuff. So if the enemy applies blindness, it ruins this really good special. Next is Rare Recruit V2 Kuma. His support is really good because you can attach it to Kitsuna Moria, or free to play Perona, the Dex one, or Legend Perona and Yoke, and he reduces by himself 5 turns of despair. Really good. I don't personally own Yoke and Perona, but it's really good. Next is V2 Bonnie. V2 Bonnie is really good, but unfortunately it's only for Kuma. There are only Red Recruit V2 Kuma, Red Kuma, and maybe Colosseum Kuma that can be used, but other than that, it's a really good support because it removes 5 turns of bind, and I used this support against the new Colosseum Kid versus Bigman. You can just bring a Kuma, bring a Bonnie support, and you can clear the stage much more easily. Next is Luffy, Nami, Zoro, Sanji, and Usopp all together. They support the other Straw Hats basically. And once per adventure removes Bind, Despair, Paralysis by 2 turns. This is a really good support. I would put it in a S tier, but the problem is that sometimes those 5 characters are in the crew and you can't just use that support. Next is B2 Beppo. B2 Beppo attaches only to low, but when you hit a perfect, removes 1 turn of damage threshold reduction from the enemy. It's really good. I used him in the Extra Coliseum Neptune, if I remember right. And even in GARP challenges can be really good. Next is Rare Recruit Limited, Rare Recruit Viola. Viola attaches only to Sanji. Her support is basically a Rare Recruit support Conis, but for instead the FAP, it's for percent damage reduction for 1 turn. Sanji is a really good unit. I nearly use them always, so I think it's a good support. I don't personally own this support, but could be really good. Next is limited rubber recruit int Aokiji. Aokiji has a good support because it can be attached to Akainu. With B3 Akainu, B1 Akainu, Akainu Fujitora, and Fujitora. He has a lot of potential for Akainu. And to Kizaru, for example, Coliseum Kizaru, or maybe possibly Legend Kizaru. So I often used him with especially Fujitora and Akainu. And next is Kung Fu Luffy, KFL. He's a really good support because he attaches to all Straw Hats. The only drawback is that he's Luffy. But if you can bring him, he will change additions orbs when you use the character special into matching and makes perfect much more easier. Basically, all grades becomes perfect. Next off is Buena Fiesta. Buena Fiesta, it changes slots, battle slots, and block orbs into matching. It's really good because it attaches to Bullet, and Bullet is one top tier legend. So you don't need to bring any other unit that changes those orbs because Bullet can just use his special, activate his support, and all orbs are matching. Really good support. Next is reward support Diamante. Diamante attaches to all strength units, which is really good, and it changes receive tandem bomb boards into matching for everyone. Yes, for everyone. The point is that not always you want to change receive tandem because they are counted as beneficial in the majority of teams. While bomb orbs are not always a big problem to deal with. So I think it's a really good support because it attaches to all the strength characters, but not essential. Next is Legend V Tsunami. Her support is really good because she attaches to Nami. Kinemon, you just can't just forget it. And of course, her special is really good because 100% of damage reduction, defense reduction, sorry, on enemies is basically a must-have in certain content. For example, in GARP challenges, it can be really good. And 100% you just can deal massive of damage even to the most defensive enemies. Next is support reward again, Bartolomeo. This support is really good because it attaches to Nico Robin, Rebecca, and Sabo. Nico Robin has a lot of units that can be used. Rebecca, Viva Rebecca, the new, how could I say, event Rebecca, the Psy one. And the Sabo, all the possible Sabo, Sabo, Legend Sabo, V3, and so on. And when you get the enemy when does an attack up or enrage, you recover HP and tank that hit. So it's really an extra turn barrier, basically. Next off is 6 plus or 6 normal Legend Guard. It attaches to Cobian map on Kiji. Cobian map you can just forget them for the moment, but the important part is Aokiji, because you can bring limiter record into Aokiji, Legend V3 Aokiji, put the support, and 3 turns of silence are just passed. So I think it's a really good support to do. Next is Kitsuna Clash Akainu. This Akainu is good because it attaches to Sengoku, Aokiji, and Kitzaru. And when you use their special, it just locks 2.75 chain lock. It's a really good boost for free, basically. Next off is Quick Bobbin. This support it's good because you can get basically 4 matching orbs when you get attack down debuff. Get rid of the attack down debuff, use Luffy low special, and basically you can one-shot the entire stage. So I think it's a good special. And it attaches to all quick characters. This is the good part. Next off is Limited Rare Recruit Tashigi. This Tashigi is especially good for Zoro. Smoker has only a couple of units good, not including the Legend one because it's only on Japan at the moment. When you get attack down, 2 turns of attack down reduce it and change strong and quick orbs to magic for everyone. This is good if you are really good at planning strategies. I never use this support because I don't own another Tashigi, but I know it's good support. Next is Recruit Valentine Shiraoshi. This Shiraoshi is good because Neptune, his EX or normal version is still used nowadays. So you can just bring that Neptune and get 2 turns of paralysis or attack down reducted. Really good. Next is Coliseum Neptune. He attaches to Shiraoshi. Kaboshi is never used nowadays. You can just use the character special, Shiraoshi special, and get rid of 2 turns of despair and 2 turns of resilience reductor from the enemy. This is good, for example, for Legend Shiraoshi or for all other Shiraoshi, especially the White Day Shiraoshi. It can be really used for her. Next is Valentine Koala. Koala attaches to Sabo. When Sabo uses his special, you get rid of 2 turns of Bind and Despair. Really good. There are many good Sabo, so it basically sees it all. Next is Recruit V2 or V1. Sorry, maybe I'm wrong. Sorry, Bellamy. Bellamy is a really good supporter when Doflamingo uses his special. Gets rid of 2 turns of defap and threshold damage reduction. Really good support. I used him a lot in the gap challenges. And maybe it's really good in the future for other contents. So I think it's a really good support. Next off is Rare Recruit page 1. Page 1 is better than X-Drake in my opinion. I don't know if it's on Global supported. Because if you can just put him on Kaido, Kaido gets 2 turns of attack down, you get reducted at 2 turns of attack down, and can be also used, for example, for the new Legend Okis or Treasure Map Okis. Next, I made a change on Zeph because his support it's only for fighter 1.5 color affinity for fighters on Sanji, but Sanji has a lot of fighter units, so I think that in Kitsuna clashes or in some challenges can be really useful. Now, before going to the S tier, I made an adjustment on the really niche tier. Also, I included Soba Mask that I forgot before making this tier list. That boosts Frankie Ozop and gives when the users their special 1.3 to all attack boost to all characters. I never used him. It's really, if it was like a 1.75, it was a really good special, but just a 1.3, it's not worth in my opinion. So this concludes the A tier, and now I'm going to talk about the S tier. For first, in the S tier, we have Rare Requisite version 1 Ace, which boosts to 1.3 of affinity boost for all quick characters at the final stage, and it can be used for every quick characters. This is really good. I used it really a lot on group challenges, and I could also say the same thing to Tower Nami, but she's for int characters. I really use her a lot on the inversion Lin for making new teams. Next, we have Raid Zoro. Raid Zoro is one of the best free-to-play units in both support and in the unit form, because it gives 1.3 affinity to all slashers by 1.3, and it can be used by all slashers. Really good. Next, we have a draw of Rare Recruit V1 Kid and Limited Rare Recruit Judge, because they both give a 1.3 attack boost, affinity boost to strength units. It's good like Ace and Navi, but I personally think it's much more better, because with Legend Bullet, you could just destroy contents by using a small affinity boost. Next is Lucci, 6 version 2 6 plus Lucci. Is a good support for shooters. 1.5, sorry, affinity boost. The only problem is it is for shooters. At 1.5, it's still really good, but if it was 1.3, I would put him in a A tier, because shooters are just so bad. Next, we have oh my god, what was her name? Brûlé, sorry. Support only Brûlé. Brûlé, she's a really good unit because she can be used by a lot of units. Luffy, Nami, Chopper, Pecons, Carrot, Katakuri. Maybe not for Pecons, but for the other units is insane, because in Garp challenges you always get Brock or something like that at the end of the adventure. You just bring her. You get 2 turns of supported character special cooldown, 2000 HP. Maybe it's a small 2000 HP, but change block orbs into matching for free. This is only Zephyr could do that, but you must bring Ain. This is for a huge array of units, and it is really good. And next we have the super good old sorry, Whitey Bay. I could just remember her name. Which gives 2 turns of bind and a spell reduction with with slasher characters. A lot of slasher characters boost reduce the bind and the spell, and I nearly always use her. It's insane her utility. Next we have Himbe. Uh, he I made him S tier because his boost is small, 0.2 of chain is small, but for fighter and powerhouse characters everywhere, he can be used anytime, everywhere basically. I always use him in Kitsuna or in Adventure just for that small damage, extra damage, because he's so versatile to being used. I cannot use him. It's really good. Next is a super useful unit, Bind Dynamic. Can be used by all all male straw hats basically. It reduces when you use the support special 2 turns of bind and despair. It's incredible. You always bring a Luffy, Zoro, or Sanji. Maybe Frankie Brook no, but it's really good. Next we have Opera. Opera is one of the top tier free-to-play supports because if you deal damage with a fighter unit, 2/3 of the despair are detracted. This is superb. I really use them a lot when I couldn't count on, for example, on Nami support, the one above. And its support is insane. I always use them when I have the opportunity. Next off is Legend Cavendish. You could just not evolve him and keep his 6-star form. Never used him really much. But his support is really good for clearing only one stage. But clearing one stage with his support is possible by using a quick unit. He gives the quick orb to the quick unit. It locks it. It gives 1.5 attack and orb boost. It's basically one shot, man, for a quick unit. I not use him really much, but I know if once in one stage have a strong unit, I could just bring him with a quick unit and it is gone. Next is Koshiro. Support only Koshiro. It's especially good for Zoro because nearly every Zoro deals damage with his special. And his special is insane. 4 turns to increase defense and resilience detracted by the enemy and gives a whopping 0.7 extra to the chain. Only for the 0.7 extra is very good, but that 4 turns of resilience increased defense, incredible. It's a shame it's only for Zoro, but it's very good. Next, we have one of the best supports, but really one of the best supports in the game is Sakatsuki, V1 Sakatsuki. His support can be used by all strength characters, and when you deal even a small damage with him, changes all slots into strength and gives a stronger units 1.5 of attack. With bullet is insane with bullet, but even without using bullet, even for strong units in general, is a very good support. A must farm basically. Next we have the duo basically of the bind and despair paralysis removal. Rayleigh that I still don't own. V1 Rayleigh, absurd. I hope they put him in the how is it called, the Sugofest medals exchange, and Corazon I have him. Their support are super amazing because they boost really good unit. Luffy for low, and Luffy for Rayleigh, sorry, and low for Corazon. They are really good. They hardly have a replacement. Next we have the new, which I pulled him, fortunately. Halloween Ace. Halloween Ace boosts supports Luffy and Sabo. And it just reduces free turns of bind, but it's really good as a free turns of bind. You just bring that support and you don't have to bring any other units in general to reduce that bind. It's very good. Next is Corazon, which I don't remember which Corazon, I think the Treasure Map one, which attaches to Law and Sengoku, which is a small comparison to his Legend version, but instead of bind, despair, and paralyze, it reduces turns of bind and attack down. It's good, but it's better is legend version, but that 2 turns of attack down maybe to do their maybe can ruin the run. Sorry. Next off is Conis. Conis is a really good unit because it boosts Nami, Sanji, and Usopp. And Usopp, sorry. It gives quite a bit of attack boost, but her speciality, her utility really shines because she reduces 1 turn of increased defense, and this 1 turn of increased defense is really clutch. For example, in the Kid Forest, you bring a recruit one Usopp. You just bring him with support Conis, and you can to clear the stage when you have Hawkins page 1 X break. Really good support. Next we have the goddess, sorry, of increased defense reduction, Carrot, buff Carrot. She's really good because she boosts Nami and Chiffon. Chiffon not so much, but Nami is extremely useful because when she hits perfect, 2 turns of increased defense are detracted, and this in guard changes is insane, especially on the Doflamingo version. Quite a simple but really useful support. Next off is support only Sengoku, the Psy one, which boosts low, but it really shines when you use the Luffy low because you can change the order into quick, use their special or Dex, and you get a whopping 0.7 chain boost like Okushiro, but you get all match moves. This in Kitsuna, I always use this combination because it's really strong. Even Colosseum. Next off is a new support on Global, recruit time skip to Sanji, which is how could I say? It's like a small change to Valentine Nami, but can be used only by Yuffie and Zoro, and reduces 2 turns of paralysis and despair. Really good. It's a shame it's only 2 units, but really useful. Next off is a free-to-play unit. I hope that Bandai really puts his Fortnite in the game because I can't find him. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I can't find the Fortnite. He supports Hody Jones. You could just put him on Hody Jones and you get rid of 2 turns of Bind and Silence. And this is insanely good because Hody Jones, the Colosseum one, it's super useful. I always use him in Striker or Powerhouse teams. While I could use maybe Legend Hody to reduce damage, or just speedrun things with his special. It's a really good support ability. Vandertekken, sorry, the Vandertekken. Next off is the super orb matching. I always use Vivi. Her only defect, I would say, is that you can't run Vivi Rebecca if you use Vivi support. But other than that, her support is really good because you can use her on everyone. Everyone can have a matching orb at the end of the adventure. Really good. The healing is not important. You could just level her up to level 1, and you're good to go. Next is a bit rare to use, But into Nico Robin, the first recruit Nico Robin, boost int character's attack by 1.3 at the end of the adventure. When you can't use int attack boost or attack boost in general, she's really good. She's a really good replacement. Nico Robin, you could always not use her in your team, so I think S tier is a really good fit for the support. Next, we have a new good support on global, which is Frankie. Frankie boosts Luffy, Zoro, Usopp, and Nico Robin. When they use any damage dealing special, and nearly every one of them use them, you get a 1.4 attack boost for fighters, slashers, shooters, and stuff. It's a really good special. It's like a kind special. Next, we have 20th anniversary Brook. His special is good because you could use Zoro, Wild Hunt Zoro, for example, to reduce despair. You reduce 5 turns of despair and 2 turns of paralysis. Sanji, you could use Sanji and Judge to reduce paralysis, and then you could reduce much more turns of paralysis and 2 turns of despair. With Nami, you could use 6 plus Nami to reduce despair thanks to her paralysis reduction. Chopper with his 6-star version, you could just reduce 7 turns of nearly despair, paralysis, and 5 turns of bind, and so on. Really good support. Next, we have B2 Whitebeard. It can attach to Marco and Ace. His support reduce 3 turns of despair, but I really use him because Ace, as Treasure Map Ace, the new Fire Festival Ace, Marco has Legend Marco. Ace, you could potentially use bring Legend Ace just for the 3 turns of despair. You could bring Limited Recruit Ace, the one with the one with version 2 Whitebeard debut. How's it called? Anniversary Ace. So I think and especially for Kitsuna Ace and Marco, especially for them, it's a really good unit. I always use its support and on Legend Ace. But I mean the int version, P2 Legend Ace. Really good support. Next off, we have 6 plus Doflamingo. His 6-star normal form does not have this boost, so you must evolve him. His special is really good because he attaches to all Driven. Unfortunately, Driven sucks, but other than that. And when they change slot or manipulate, you get a 1.75 extra or boost for free. If you can't use the special because the enemy has a clear effect debuff or something along those lines, you could just possibly bring Lin-Lin, Invasion Lin-Lin, change orbs, you get orb boost, you bring Rare Record version 2 Ideo, change orb, you get orb boost. There are so many driven units that change orbs. So I think his support is really good. Next we have Shiki, like int Robin, boost all Dravens, 1.3 of extra damage for Draven is a really good trade-off if you can't boost attack. Next we have Rare Record version 1 Oki. His special, I think it's pretty good because it attaches to all cerebral. Then if the cerebral unit does damage or anything like HP cut, you can reduce the enemy defense by 3 turns maximum by 50%, and this really helps when you want to probe an defense reduction attack boost, and it's really nice because there are so many cerebral units that deal damage, like Cracker Raid, Legend V2 or Legend V2 Low, and so many others. And for last, Kitsuna Nami. Kitsuna, when Kopo Kitsuna Moria was present, she reduces 2 turns of silence for Sanjin Brook when they got inflicted with silence and despair. Silence and only silence, sorry, I'm a bit tired. And she's really good because Sanji is a really good unit. I always use him, while Brook not so much, but maybe with the Legend Brook it's possible. So, thanks for watching. I'm honestly a bit tired. I made a lot of mistakes. Sorry, I'm not English. I tried really my best to explain my tier list. I quite put a lot of effort in doing it. I didn't want to make the tier list by using the tier list site because I personally uh, think that you must read the effect and see who can the support help. So I will share my tier list, obviously without problems. I will put a copy on Google Drive. I will not allow modification or whatsoever, only to download. Maybe in a comment, in the comments, tell me what you think of the tier list. And thank you for watching to stay for such a long time. I would like to do a rare recruit or legend tier list, but it does take so much long. Maybe I would do that with a tier list maker. Maybe with that. But other than that, I will see in the future. Thank you for watching, and remember that the kids' phone, Luffy, boy will begin soon. I hope you find a team.